Tonight on WVUA News at 6, local education leaders speak out about the governor's proposal to bring charter schools to Alabama.
Plus, more than 1,000 state jobs could be on the chopping block. And music lovers, listen up. A rock and roll icon is bringing his all-star show to Tuscaloosa's amphitheater.
And the National Weather Service is getting a new tool to detect tornadoes. But first, charter schools may soon become an option for Alabama students. We're glad you're with us.
I'm Terry Brewer in for Lynn Brooks.
During his State of the State address, Governor Robert Bentley said he would propose legislation to create a limited number of public charter schools in Alabama.
And today, local education leaders are talking about the pros and cons of charter schools. WVUA reporter Jennifer Edwards has more.
According to UA Professor of Education Dr. Wayne Urban, charter schools are public schools that are oftentimes free from state regulation. He says the trade-off is usually they agree to do something.
Charter schools agree to raise student achievement, and that's kind of the rub of the issue, because in most of the studies that have been done, charter schools really don't do any better than regular schools.
Some education leaders say one issue is how they're going to fund a new type of school system.
Alabama has no way to fund this without cutting money from our existing public schools. Once you get beyond that problem, even if you can advance past finances, you run into situations of whether or not a charter school can be successful in the state of Alabama.
There's just one pool of money. That tax dollar that we pay for ad valorem taxes to support public schools will be the same dollar that charter schools operate off of.
Others say it could present a positive form of competition.
That may give some incentive for the public school system to rid itself of those persons who are not pulling their load and not doing what school systems are designed to do, that is, help children.
Urban says it's important for lawmakers to look at the issue carefully.
If they're going to bring charters in, they ought to do it carefully and in ways that people are not threatened unduly.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Jennifer Edwards, WVUA News.
Now you can learn more about charter school programs from the U.S. Department of Education. For a shortcut to their website, just go to WVUATV.com, click numbers and links. Well, a rock and roll legend and icon of music is coming to Tuscaloosa. Lots of people excited about this.
Absolutely. Wait till you hear this. Former Beatle Ringo Starr is bringing his all-star band to the amphitheater. Ringo Starr announced their tour schedule today, which includes a stop in Tuscaloosa on July 3rd. His band features former members of Toto, Mr. and Journey. Starr's playlist is expected to include Beatles classics like Yellow Submarine, his own solo hit Photograph, as well as songs from his brand new solo record, Ringo 2012. Director of the amphitheater, Wendy Riggs, says more announcements are just around the corner.
In the next week and a half to 2 weeks, you're probably going to hear another 4 shows announced. We're in contracting with all 4 shows, and I believe the earliest show date is going to be April 6th. That hopefully will be announced in the next week.
And Ringo Starr joins country music legend Merle Haggard on the list of acts for the 2012 schedule. And for the latest on other acts coming to the amphitheater, just go to WVUATV.com, click on numbers and links.
Well, almost everywhere you look, you see beautiful blooming plants, all thanks to the recent warmer weather, but that is about to change. The National Weather Service says we can expect freezing temperatures this weekend, which could ruin the beautiful blooms. Debbie Laycock with Barton's Nursery says if you take the proper precautions, you won't lose your plants for good.
Unfortunately, there's not much you can do for bulbs that are blooming. You can cover things loosely with a sheet or quilt. We want to discourage you using plastic because if you forget to take it off early enough, the sun can literally burn the plants that are under the plastic.
Laycock also says April 15th is the last day you may have to protect your plants. She says ferns and potted plants can be planted prior to that date, and plants should be in the clear after Easter.
So when can we expect those cooler temperatures?
And just how low are they going to go and for how long? For the latest now on what you can expect, let's go to Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott. All right, Richard, what's to come?
Yeah, cold air in the forecast, no doubt about it, Terry and Phillip. Already down to 53 degrees in Tuscaloosa. Not really expecting extreme freeze tonight. Some of our northern counties like Haleyville area, Coleman, likely back below freezing tonight. But the south of Interstate 2059 will likely stay above that critical freezing point tonight. That will change by the weekend. By the way, here's tonight's forecast. 39 degrees by 10 o'clock, 35 at the midnight hour. Mostly clear skies overnight. But what about the big change by the weekend, and how cold is the temperature going to get? Your forecast is coming up in a bit. Stay with us.
All right, thanks, Richard. Now, the recent storms in Jefferson County show that severe weather can happen almost any time in Alabama. Now, the National Weather Service has a new tool to help detect tornadoes. Federal officials are installing new radar equipment in the office in Calera. Officials say it will allow forecasters to detect a tornado on the ground in some instances, and it could also detect tornadoes during the middle of the night when forecasters don't have access to storm spotters. Now, WVUA is covering Montgomery, where more than 1,000 state jobs could be on the chopping block, including in education.
The cuts are part of Governor Bentley's proposed budgets. Now, according to the state finance director, the governor is shifting $185 million in Medicaid costs from children from the general fund budget to the education budget. Bentley also wants to transfer $45 million in use tax revenue from the education budget to the general fund budget for state agencies. Officials say his education budget cuts more than 1,300 education positions, but retirements or resignations should take care of that. Bentley is also proposing merging some state programs and cutting other appropriations by 24%, and that could cause layoffs.
New at 6, there's a new stand against Alabama's immigration law. Opponents are planning a Valentine's Day demonstration at the State House. The Alabama Coalition for Immigrant Justice is organizing this rally. Leaders say they hope the rally will build momentum for their drive to repeal the law. GOP leaders say they want minor changes, but they say a complete repeal of the law has no chance of passing.